Hi, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys on how we could be seeing a brand new Star Wars trilogy. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So over the last few years, we have seen Disney announce a number of films from the Star Wars franchise. Unfortunately, none of them have been released. They've announced almost like a dozen different movies. But since the rise of Skywalker, everything has just been focused on Disney Plus shows. So we've got like The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Acolyte, things like that. But now they're kind of repositioning what they want to do and release more films in cinemas rather than Disney Plus series. That's why the fourth season of The Mandalorian has been turned into The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which comes out in May of 2026. The only good news with that one is they've at least finished filming it, which is a good indication because we've not seen any of the other films that they've announced over the last few years. But things look to be changing. Now, according to Deadline, a brand new deal has been made with Simon Kinberg to develop the next Star Wars trilogy, where he's going to be writing and producing all three episodes. This will be episode 10, 11, and 12. Now, this is a major step forward. Now, it's important to note that Disney and Lucasfilm hasn't officially announced this. This might be something that gets announced this weekend at the D23 Brazil event, or maybe they're going to hold it off for Star Wars Celebration next year in Japan. But nevertheless, officially nothing has been announced. So we've got this whole thing about whether or not Simon is going to be working on them. Now, we have heard so many films that have been in development and so many shows that have been cancelled or things have just fallen apart. So there's always this kind of sort of moment with this kind of thing. You go, okay, let's see what's going on. The good thing as well with Simon is that he is very, very familiar with Star Wars. He is the co-creator of Star Wars Rebels and worked on the entire series. He also was a consultant on Star Wars The Force Awakens. He's also been a writer and producer on a number of big Marvel films from 20th century, including the Deadpool films and X-Men films. He did unfortunately direct the Dark Phoenix film. That was kind of a big dud, but never, that's why he's not going to be directing these ones. But he's also worked on the Agatha Christie films for 20th century. He's worked on a load of big stuff, but I think the main key thing here, he knows Star Wars, and that's a good thing. And I also like the fact that he's being brought in for all three episodes, because that was my biggest complaint with episodes 7, 8, and 9, is they didn't really feel connected in some ways. You know, they brought in different directors and the stories went all over the place. With this next trilogy, they need to get that story maybe kind of a whole arc sorted out so it makes a little bit more sense rather than kind of felt like making things up as they were going along. We don't really know anything about the story. There was conflicting reports whether or not this was going to be a brand new set of characters and set, years later, or if it was going to continue on with some of the characters that we saw in Rise of Skywalker. I suspect we are going to see some, major characters in here, Chewbacca, that kind of thing. Now, I'm also wondering whether or not the Rey movie might end up getting incorporated into this. Now, they said that there's still going to be all the movies that they previously announced, like the Rey movie, the sort of the Mandalorian Ahsoka / movie that Dave Filoni's working on. And obviously we're getting Grogu. We know we're getting that one. There's also a host of other ones. But this one might be the focus. I think they might want to just get back onto it and doing more episodes. And that might work a little bit better than all these sub things. So who knows? It's a very interesting time for Star Wars. They are definitely trying to get things back in line. They've got stuff scheduled, but they're just not getting anything. And to be honest, until we actually start getting stuff filmed, it still feels like it could fall to pieces. But I do think that Lucasfilm is moving in a different direction of refocusing on theatrical releases, not focusing on the Disney Plus shows. We've just not really been hearing about much of this now. I mean, the days of us getting 3-4 shows a year, that's way gone. We've got Skeleton Crew coming up in a few weeks. Next year, we're going to be getting Andor Season 2 and Ahsoka Season 2. But yeah, things are all kind of like drying up. And I don't know, I think a new trilogy might be the best way. Now, you could say at the end of Rey's story, that was right. Maybe then they could pick up a few years later and still have her teaching stuff. I don't know. But I'm kind of optimistic this could happen, but I've been burnt many times over the last few years of too many projects being announced. And again, it is important to stress Disney hasn't officially announced this stuff, and they might not do so until they're really, because they can't keep announcing this stuff and not happening. It's definitely a problem for them. But let me know, would you like to see a new trilogy? What would you like to see? Let me know in the comments below. As I said, I would rather they move forward with what happens after the events of the Rise of Skywalker. Say they get 10, 20 years later, Rey's now running you know, and they got like Jedis and stuff, and maybe we start seeing Sith develop, or maybe there's like a splinter group of Jedis and one goes, well, you know, they've got a whole new direction they can go with. There's so many other stories, so many other characters. You know, maybe go back to some of the places that we saw in the original trilogy, in the prequels. You know, there's lots of different locations, but at the same time, you kind of want to go back to those ones. Maybe not Tatooine. I think they can leave Tatooine. They've done enough there. But I don't know. I think this could be interesting, could be fun to see. But as I said, let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Nice to see you guys soon. Later.